Hello, my name is Matthew Marvin. I also go by the Poker Gypsy. Welcome back to Justice Junkeez. We appreciate all you guys' support. Keep on tuning in. Got another great show for you today. Got Mr. Marcus Deegan, the Australian Stallion, with me today, sir. How are you doing?
Oh, the Australian Stallion. I should patent that and keep that name.
Hey.
That's good. Yeah, I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
A pleasure is all mine.
Nice to meet you. I always like meeting new people and coming in and having a chat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, today I'm going to verbally touch your no-no zone in a few ways, so I hope you're prepared.
Listen, I like it. I like a man that's prepared. You've got notes. I'm not sure if you've done any research, but it looks like you have. So I respect and appreciate that.
No
Nice
problem
work,
at all.
yeah.
So, kind of deep questions on this show.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah.
Who is Marcus Deegan?
Marcus Deegan. Who is he? He's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I grew up in Australia, moved to America in 2001. Geez, I nearly forgot then. It's been so long. 2001, I moved to America, and I was a performer in a show called The Thunder from Down Under, which is like the Australian version of Chippendales. Now, I didn't run around in a thong. I was the guy on the microphone that was saying, "Come on, ladies." That was my role. So I did that and traveled to 16 different countries performing in front of thousands of drunk, intoxicated, horny women. So it was just the absolute dream job for me. And then I had a great run here with that in Las Vegas, on the Las Vegas Strip. And then, of course, when COVID hit and all the shows closed down, that's when I kind of retired and got into podcasting and got into kind of like what you're doing. But so I've always been in the entertainment industry somehow or another, whether it's performing on stage, whether it's doing voiceovers, whether it's doing podcasts, whether it's introing shows. I've always kind of been involved in it in that way, yeah.
Okay. So are you related to Conor McGregor or you just look like him?
Oh, yeah, I'm his broke father. No, you know what? The funny thing is that the area where he comes from in Ireland, in the Dublin 12, a place called Drimnagh, Crumlin, actually. My family's from Drimnagh, which is right next to Crumlin. So I am Australian of Irish heritage. So I'm not actually related to the guy. He just kind of looks like me.
Okay. So you have the ability to drink a lot or no?
I did until I stopped. I did. I'm Australian with Irish blood, mate. I'll drink you under the table now. I did drink a lot up until I gave up alcohol about 2 years ago. Okay. So I haven't had a sip in at the end of this month, it'll be 2 years.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to do it for the first time in my life. I ended up with my pancreas. I had pancreatitis and ended up in the ICU, as a matter of fact, here at St. Rose. Shout out to all the docs at St. Rose. They're awesome. And the doctor said to me, if you keep drinking the way that you're drinking, you're going to die. So you just got to stop. Yeah. And I was like, there's no other way around it.
No choice.
Here's what I do now is I drink non-alcoholic beer. So Heineken Zero. It tastes exactly like a beer, but it's just got no alcohol.
So you like the taste of beer?
Oh, yeah, of course. I love it. And that was my biggest fear of getting sober. Was like, how am I going to not come home and crack a beer when I drink beers. That's what I do. Yeah. But luckily, and believe it or not, those non-alcoholic beers really saved my sobriety, because I would have gone back to drinking ages ago, I think.
Really?
So I don't do any drugs. I don't do any alcohol. I'll smoke some weed for pain and to sleep, but that's about it.
What's your favorite strand of weed?
At the moment, I'm smoking this weed called Moonrock.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty
it's
popular.
Called Moonrock, the strongest blunts in the world. So I'm going through. Yeah, so there's a place down at I think it's called Nevada Marijuana. Shout out, just down where is it on St. Rose, and they have the Moonrock weed in there. So yeah, I like that.
Okay, yeah. Very nice. Have you gotten to dabs and all that stuff, or just basically flower?
So I like flower. Edibles don't really work on me. The dabs, I'll just cough for 5 hours afterwards. It just doesn't matter what I do. I cannot stop coughing. And then my wife's just sitting there saying, "Oh, cough up a lung, come on." She goes, "Cough, cough." It's like been 3 hours, so now I can't do the dabs. Yeah. Although I like them though. Okay. Back in the day, you know what we used to do? We used to get hash, and we'd heat up the stove, and we'd have that. We'd get 2 knives. We'd heat the knives up, and we'd pick the hash up with the 2 hot knives, and then you'd smoke the smoke through that. It was like real ghetto, really? Like smoking through a can.
Kind of like a hookah, but without the stem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's about it, man. I spent like my lifetime drinking and drugging and just being an absolute maniac. Yeah. And so it just came to the stage where my time had just run out, getting fucked up and messed up all the time, because it was beyond a joke. Like no one could take as much as I could take. Yeah. No one.
High tolerance.
Extremely high tolerance, to where I'd I'd take 3 or 4 hits of E and I'd be like absolutely off my lips, saying to my mate, I don't feel it. And he's like, Marcus, fucking look at you. You're off your head. And I just always had something in my brain where I just didn't think that I was feeling it, even though I was.
Yeah.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, no, I've heard that before.
Yeah, that's the addictive brain. No, take more.
Yeah.
Have another one. You're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened to me in Amsterdam, actually. We went to this big nightclub. We went in there and scored some E. And I remember I took 2. And then like about an hour later, I said to my mate, did you feel anything? He's like, nah. He goes, oh, well, fucking have these other 2. These are from another bloke. They're better. Bang, took those 2. As soon as I took those 2, within 10 seconds, I went, oh, fuck, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I really feel it now, and it just fucking hit me like a ton of bricks, man. And that was at a nightclub called It, and pardon my ignorance, it wasn't in Amsterdam. Yes, it was. It was in Amsterdam. Yeah, it was in Amsterdam with my Thunder from Down Under days traveling around Amsterdam being a degenerate.
You've traveled a lot. What was your favorite place to visit?
Jeez, I love New Zealand. That was one of my favorites. And I love the Belgium.
Really?
Yeah, we trained in Jean-Claude Van Damme's gym in Belgium. And you know what? Holland is a really nice place as well. Walking through the streets of Amsterdam is just a trip. Like you wake up in the morning. This was before marijuana was... You could just go and smoke it anywhere.
Yeah,
Like you'd go there and it was like you go into the restaurant.
Easy now.
Yeah, you go, I know, right? Far out. But I remember when I first came here, it was like if you got done with a couple of seeds, you were history.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, Amsterdam is definitely one of my favorite places, and Holland and Belgium, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So personally, what's the pettiest thing you've ever done to get drugs that you feel comfortable talking about?
What's the pettiest thing I've ever done to get drugs? Oh, fuck, I've done a lot, man. I've done a lot. Maybe gave away a pair of Nike Air Jordans that I got for my birthday literally a few days before.
From like a family member? Or?
Yes. Yeah. And I swapped them for some speed.
Really?
Yeah. So when you get to when you get to a stage where you're like your brain doesn't work properly because you're intoxicated on drugs, you don't think straight. Like you don't do straight, you don't think straight, you don't know what you're doing. You do things when you're on drugs. Are you a former drug addict?
Grew up around it.
You grew up around it, but you never dabbled in it at all.
Because I've seen too much.
So you've never taken any drugs?
Well, I mean, I've smoked weed before, but as far as like cocaine, no. Nothing.
Wow.
Because I've got a stepdad who's actually in jail right now serving life. He killed the old lady. He stabbed her 14 times. We talk on the phone every 2 weeks. He calls me from jail, and he thinks he's getting out. And that's the hard conversation I have to have with a family member. So,
wow.
No, I don't.
Good for you.
I've seen a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because, like, I've been to treatment. I've literally gone through every drug that you can think of.
Yeah.
Anything that I could put in my body, I would liquefy it and inject it into my arm. Jeez. That was my way of getting it into my system. I didn't like snorting it. I didn't like swallowing it. I liked liquefying it and injecting it. So I was pretty hardcore there for a while. Lost my mind for a few years, but pulled myself out of it through just what I learned in treatment. Like I had a few tools that they teach you.
So it did help.
It did help me because it gave me a few tools that I could put into practice when I either was trying to get clean or thought I was going to relapse.
Okay.
So I use those, and then what I tell anyone that's trying to get clean, the best way to get clean is you need clean time. Mm-hmm. You can't fucking go for 3 weeks and then think that it's all going to be. You need a good year of not taking anything before your brain starts to work to where you're able to make conscious decisions on your life. When you're all messed up on drugs and alcohol, you just can't.
Did you have to cut off a lot of people that was around you?
Bro, I literally have cut off 95% of the people that are around me. Like meeting you guys, I'm meeting new people now. I do not associate or hang out with any of the people that I used to associate myself with. People, places, and things. Okay, these are what you've got to stay.
And you live in Vegas. That's got to be.
yeah, and that's what they said to me in treatment. They said, "You're going back to Vegas. Good luck." 78% of people fail. They can't get clean. People can't. They just can't. 78% just can't.
There's a lot of temptation out here.
There is. But you got to have things that mean more to you. And you know what, bro? You know what else helps is age. Like I just turned 53.
Yeah.
So getting a little bit older has really helped me in decision making and going, I just can't torture my body anymore, man.
Well, they say we don't really get smarter as we get older. We just run out of dumb shit to do. So, I mean,
That's true, bro. That's exactly true. That's funny, but yeah.
Okay. So, I guess if you can describe to me what rock bottom looked like for you.
Rock bottom. It was pretty bad. So I got married.
That was rock bottom.
That's leading up to it.
Okay.
So I got married. The time that I got married, I was addicted to opiates. I was addicted to a drug called Roxy's, Roxycodone. Now, if anyone's ever taken Roxy's, you know as well as I do, those things are addictive as. And the reason they're so addictive is because if you don't take them, you feel like
your body starts to miss it.
Oh
right?
man, you feel like you want to die. So the condition of me and her being married and staying married was I wasn't to take opiates anymore. Of course, I lied the whole time and didn't do it. So after 12 weeks, she decided that the marriage was over. In the process of that, I was in the process of getting my green card. But now that we had broken up, she didn't want to do you have to do an interview with...
You have like a sponsor.
Well, you have to go to the Department of like where you do passports and all that.
Yeah.
You have to sit down. You have to sit down with a guy from the U.S. consulate, and he decides whether you are really married and if you are really in love, and you have to show photos and this and that. And if you are, then you get your green card. Well, she said to me, "I'm not doing the interview. I'm not fucking married to you. I'm not doing it anymore." I was like, "Well, if that's the case, I'm going to get deported back to Australia."
Yeah.
She goes, "All right, I want 50 grand cash. I want you to set me up in a new apartment. I want to keep all the furniture. I want a new car, and I want the dogs." And I was like, "I'll do everything except the dogs. You can have one dog and I'll have the other one." So literally fucking cleaned me out, man. Cleaned me out, right? So she goes, "I want to stay at the house. You go and stay at your friend's house." So I came back on the Monday after binging on crack all weekend. I came back on the Monday to my house. I opened the door, and it was completely empty. Nothing. I'm talking, she took the food out of the fridge. Jeez. And I just remember sitting in this massive house, echoing. My breath was echoing because it was so empty. Coming down off binging on crack all weekend, addicted to opiates, with no money, no wife now, and not even a fucking couch to sit on. And I just sat in the kitchen of this place and just literally thought to myself, if I had a gun right now, I'd probably use it on myself because I wasn't thinking straight. Yeah. So, but like anything, you man up, you put your fucking big boy shorts on, and you decide what you want your life to be, and you have to make changes. No. That was pretty rock bottom for me, man. Yeah, that was pretty rock intense. Bottom. Yeah, but I've had a few. I've had a few rock bottoms.
Really?
You know? Yeah, I've had a couple. But
how many times did you relapse?
Oh fuck! I've relapsed my whole life up until October 21st, 2 years ago.
Jeez.
And I haven't relapsed since then. I've been completely clean for 2 years. Yeah.
After congratulations on that.
Thank you, man. Yeah. After a lifetime of being a mad alcoholic drug addict. Yeah. I'm saying a lot of things here now. You forget that you're doing a podcast, and you just start talking. You know what I mean? So people, I don't give a fuck if you hold that against me or not. What you got to understand is you can condemn me for being a degenerate drug addict, but I've come out of it now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm a better person for it. And I have an amazing woman by my side that's been with me for 10 years. Yeah. And so that's it. Definitely getting the drugs and alcohol out of my life made a huge difference. Okay.
So what's the pettiest thing you've ever seen somebody do for drugs other than sucking penis? Because I think that's like normal, right? Like,
I've never personally sucked one. I've not that I remember anyway. I don't think I have. But listen, man, if you've been to Sydney, Australia has a lot of drug addicts, and I seen this guy running down the main street, completely naked, with a boombox on his shoulder, with his big long schlong, about that long, skinny, hanging down, flopping around, screaming for heroin.
Really?
Yeah, it was sad, man. Sad.
Jesus. Okay, so to lighten up the mood a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
I did. I feel like having a line.
Got to switch it up a little bit. So obviously people come up to you all the time and ask you if you Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah, especially if I wear the sunglasses. Like
Yeah.
that. If I do this.
There you go.
Yeah, I get it. Even Connor thought I looked like Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you guys meet? Like, how did you guys?
We met in 2015. I asked him a few questions at the press conference after he had defeated Chad Mendes for the interim featherweight belt.
Oh, he didn't come watch you dance?
Oh, you better watch it, mate. You're gonna hear from his management. No, They know that I was in the show though. But he, no. I met him, just asked him a couple of questions. I made him laugh a couple of times and made Dana laugh, and that's kind of how we met. And then I started doing the lookalike gigs.
Yeah.
Where I'll dress up like him and go to all the Connor events, and people would just lose their mind.
Yeah.
Like I would go in the full suit, like fully dressed like Connor with the belt, a couple of security with me, and it would just cause a riot. And then he put me in his documentary, which was pretty cool. And then after he beat Cowboy Cerrone, we met a couple of times, but after he beat Cowboy Cerrone, I got to go and we got to hang out together for a few hours at his after party. And that was that video that I showed you before. Yeah. And Connor's always been really supportive. I promoted his whiskey and his cryotherapy spray sponsored my podcast, so I have interaction with him like that. When I was ill, sick with the pancreatitis, as I was telling you, he messaged me and called me when I was in hospital, and when my dad passed away, and for my 50th birthday. So, look, I know the guy through association, and it's fucking cool to know him. I wouldn't say we're best friends or anything like that, but he knows my name and I know his, and we have an association. I've interviewed all of his team, all of his coaches, all of his training partners. I've interviewed a lot. But
so you study about him on the side as well.
You know what? I don't really do it too much anymore, to be quite honest with you. I don't really do the lookalike thing anymore because it got too dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, man. It got really dangerous because people wanted to hurt me. Russians.
Okay, I could see that.
No, seriously.
Khabib.
Yeah. Khabib.
I could see that.
Like I've pranked people. Like I pranked Nate Diaz once dressed up as Connor. I rocked up to an autograph signing with a belt. 5 security. I got him for about 10 seconds and then he realized it was me, but it was a viral video, got over 4 million views on YouTube. And I also pranked Floyd Mayweather as well. That was a good one. So I rocked up at the Khabib Tony Ferguson press conference and I knew there was going to be the big fluffy hatted Dagestanis everywhere. And I thought, I'm going to go to this thing fully dressed as Connor and see what happens. Mind you, I had a 5 security team with me, right? And me, 5 security around me. Fucking everyone thought I was Connor. It was hilarious. Yeah. And all those Russians that were threatening me and said they were going to kill me and rape my wife and all these Khabib fans that wanted to beat me up. You know what they did when they saw me? What? You know what they did?
What?
Fucking asked me for a picture. It was great, but it was a really good time in my life, and I had so much fun doing it. It got a little dangerous, and you know, it can be a little cringe. You know, a lot of people hate. I copped a lot of hate for it.
Yeah,
a lot of hate. People just be your own man. You know what I mean? Stop walking around. Who do you think you are? You're too old. You know what I mean? Like a lot. People hated me, man. But you know what? Connor likes me, so that's all that I really really cared about. But it was a fun part of my life, and I loved it. And it was good to be involved in the McGregor era when he was fucking huge. He still is huge, but you know, back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess knowing him on a little bit of personal level, do you think that he feels that slap boxing is a sport? Coming from the intense.
Yeah. I would definitely say that he would say it's a sport because the way that it's been presented to the public and organized by the UFC, like the way it's done, how it's filmed, it's on Rumble, they have different competitors, and I'd say it is a sport, right? People never thought UFC was mixed martial arts in the UFC was a sport either back in the day, remember? They tried to ban it. This is ridiculous. No one's going to... But yeah, I think he would.
Okay. All right.
That's a brutal sport, man. What the hell?
Yeah, it is.
What the hell? Wow.
All right. Conor McGregor versus Andrew Tate. Who wins?
Oh, Conor all day. Conor just destroys him. Yeah, no. Andrew Tate would be too easily hit. He's not as experienced as Conor, although he's a good kickboxer. Conor just destroys him. Okay. But I love Andrew Tate. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I like.
There's levels.
Yeah. There's levels. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Is that the voice of God?
Yes, my child.
If I asked Conor McGregor what was his favorite Irish curse word, what do you think it would be? Would it be cunt or twat?
It would be fuck.
All right, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Are leprechauns real?
They say they are. They say they are. They say they are. I don't know. I've been called one a few times.
Yeah.
Short little ginger beard man running around looking for cash. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
So I'm not going to ask you this one as Conor. I'm going to ask you this one personally because I know we'll get in trouble for this one, right?
Okay.
And you said you have a background from Ireland as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you got invited to a gay Irish wedding, would you go?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a homophobe. I don't have any problem with anyone.
Yeah.
As long as doesn't involve kids.
Yeah.
Or doesn't involve you making me have to like it.
Now, is that based on your travels or is that based on just who you are?
That's based on who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was reading something about Australia and they said 97% of the population would think that like a LGBTQ or whatever would be accepted by society. So when I did the research, I found out they was pretty much open over there versus other countries.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's, I've been here for 20 years and it's probably changed a little bit since then, but Australia's always been a pretty open country. I just hope it doesn't swing too far left like I've heard it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the movie Dracula.
Which one?
The writer's Irish, the first one.
Right.
The original one. The guy's name was Bram Stoker, right? Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, if there's more life in semen than in blood, why don't vampires just suck dick?
Because the teeth leave scrapes on your balls.
All right, that's a good answer.
I like these questions, man.
So I got to ask you this one as Conor McGregor. We could skip this one if you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
If you can go back in time and do it all over again, what would you change?
About myself?
Conor. What do you think he would do?
What do I think Conor would do different? That's a good question. Mm-hmm. What would Conor McGregor do differently?
Business-wise, fighting-wise?
That's a difficult question.
We can skip it if you
No,
want.
that's a difficult question. And the only reason why it's a difficult question is because it's hard to think what someone would do different. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe because he's done everything and it all worked out so well. Yeah. What has changed that maybe he would have done different? I don't know. Maybe he would have had a little bit of a better mindset and training camp for the Khabib fight, because that seemed to turn a real dark corner. It just seemed really vicious and dark.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have changed that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask this question, and this one is basically, I'm stealing this one from Austin. After Conor fought Mayweather, why did he change his style, do you think? You think there was some kind of influence, or?
When he came back to MMA, why did he change?
After he fought Mayweather, he approached it with a different style.
Yes. What, the actual, after the Mayweather fight? Okay, so after the Mayweather fight, I think a lot of people were saying that he was taking that more of a boxing stance and was instead of that wide stance, that in and out movement. Maybe it was the influence of the boxing coach that, not that Conor couldn't go back to his original.
Right. Well, he probably learned something because, I mean, look, he got in there and he fought one of the greatest fighters in the world.
Yep.
And went toe to toe with the man.
And landed more punches than any other boxer has ever hit Floyd.
You got to give the man credit for that.
You got to give him credit for everything that he's done. And people like to focus on the negative, you know? People like to focus on the bad and they like to talk shit. But there's not one person either listening to this or watching this that can say that they have never done anything fucked up in their life.
Right.
And they've never done anything that they're ashamed of. The only thing is with Conor McGregor, when he does something wrong that maybe he's ashamed of, it's in front of the whole world to see.
Right.
So obviously...
A lot less privacy.
Yes, there's a lot less privacy, but anyone in this world is hypocritical. He who has not sinned may cast the first stone. You remember that? It's from the Bible. If you haven't read the Bible, read it. He who has not sinned, cast the first stone. None of yous will throw a rock.
Okay. So Did you come directly from Australia to here, or was you traveling and then came here?
No, I was traveling and then I went home, and I was home for, I can't remember, maybe 3 months, and then we moved here.
So you took that long flight from Australia to the United States?
I've done it a million times. I've done it a million times. Xanax and red wine was my savior.
But that's like a 15-hour flight, man. That's got to be brutal.
15-hour flight just in the air, but then you've got to count in like check-in time. Sometimes if you've got to change at Brisbane to go to Sydney, and then when I get to Brisbane, I've got an hour drive back to where I. So it is hard, bro. It is hard, and I've done it a million times. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. So, how do Australians view Americans?
They view Americans as they like the American people because Australia is very influenced by America.
Yeah.
My dad, rest his soul, when he was over here, used to say how much he loved I love the American people.
Yeah.
I love the American people. That's what he used to say. So yeah, Australians love Americans.
Okay.
Yeah. And Americans love Australians.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Why is that? Why do you guys love Australians? Is it the accent or is it just...
It's definitely the accent. But being different, like when Australian women come over here, they love American men, and we love the attention because the women over here, no offense, shit, but
Yeah, well, it's the same when American men go to Australia.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With your accent, it's a big hit over there.
yeah.
I've got a totally different answer to that.
Go for it.
Metal bands in Australia are far better than metal bands in America.
Yeah,
So we're talking AC/DC.
No, we're talking heavy. We're talking actual heavy. AC/DC is like,
Are we talking Silverchair?
no, we're talking like Thy Art Is Murder and Parkway Drive and
Okay.
In Heart's Wake and all that.
Are they the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea who they are.
I'll show you. I opened a festival here in Vegas,
Yeah.
and this band Thy Art Is Murder was their first tour in the United States. And they're from I think they're from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And they just it was like the Beatles were here.
Really?
Yeah, they were huge when they first came here, and they still like headline here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
But it's just better. Like the metal music in Australia is better than here.
all Australians come to America to make it because you can only go so far in the entertainment industry in Australia, hence being there's only 25 million people there.
Yeah.
So you can only go so far. If you want to make it big in anything, you got to come to America.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever got to box a kangaroo or sit in its pouch?
I have not, but I have petted one. I have played with one and seen them my whole life. I've seen them bounding down the street. We even had a koala in our backyard.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, is hitting the kangaroo in Australia kind of like hitting a deer in the United States?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, big time. You got to be real careful of that. Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been to Tasmania?
Yes, I
heard
have.
they got some of the cleanest air in the world over there.
Beautiful there. Yep, it's very nice. I've been there once back in 1999. Yeah, beautiful place. Cold, but very nice.
Great Barrier Reef?
Yes, sir. I've been there as well. It's in Queensland, which is it's North Queensland. I am actually from Queensland. I'm about 8 hours away.
Okay.
About an 8 hour drive away from the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah, but it's an amazing place, and it's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Yeah.
It's one of the largest living.
Habitats?
Would you call it a habitat? Yeah, I was trying to think of the word then because I've never. Yeah, habitat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the Alps? Have you seen the Australian Alps?
So I have been to. Where did I go? Was it Melbourne? Was it Melbourne? Geez, I'm thinking back on my memory now. Yes, but only a couple of times. I was never.
Okay.
I was from a tropical part of Australia, so we didn't really see the snow.
Okay. What about the Great Ocean Road? I've heard it's the oldest memorial or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the longest roads in Australia. Yes, I've been on it many, many, many times.
Is there a speed limit over there?
So there is, and then I think it's 100 kilometers or 110 kilometers an hour, which is about 110 kilometers. What would that be? 80 miles an hour? Yeah, on those
like
big
75?
Yeah, about 75. Yeah.
Okay. So how would policing be different here than Australia? What's the difference between policing in Australia and U.S.?
I mean, police are brutal over here.
Yeah.
But guess what?
They're worse.
They're brutal in Australia as well. Yeah. So I think
Is it over policing everywhere, or like certain spots? I don't want to say everywhere, because I mean, it's hard to evaluate in all the police in U.S. and Australia if there's more good than bad? Because I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, according to where you go to.
I suppose I could say that nearly every interaction I've had with police in America and Australia have been bad.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah,
I haven't had good. I have not had good experiences with police, and I'm not a criminal, so to speak.
Right.
But I don't know if it's because I don't like being told. I mean, I've been locked up in Clark County twice. And, when your liberties are taken away from you and it's yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, I had a real problem with that.
Yeah.
Real problem, which made me think, fuck, I could never do time in prison.
What other cultural shock issues did you have coming over here? Like pit bulls. Pit bulls are illegal in Australia, right? And then you come over here and you see one. Like, what's some things that shock you, I guess?
Oh, geez. Some things that shocked me over here was the food.
Really?
Yeah, just the processed food and the size of the food was a lot bigger than it was in Australia.
Our chicken wings are bigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot. As I said before, it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
Culturally. And one thing that I struggled with when I came over here was people not being able to understand my accent. Right. And then I would say something like, I'd rattle off something at the drive-thru. I'd be like, yeah, can I get, for example, 2 Big Macs, a large fries, a Coke, let me get an apple pie with that. And they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, okay, can I get 2 Big Macs, an apple pie, and some fries with that? Sorry, what was that? I was like, oh, fuck. So then I just started going, yeah, I'll take 2 Big Macs, a large fries, a Coke. And when I started doing the American accent, then people would understand me. But otherwise, they didn't. And I'm sure my accent was a lot thicker 20 years ago too. Yeah. I'm sure I'm a bit Americanized now. Do I sound Americanized to you?
No, I still hear that.
Oh, you still hear it?
Either that or everybody else pronounces words wrong.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean you hear it? That he's all accent.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, right? Because one thing that really irritates me is when I see people that go to another country for like 5 years and then they come back and they've got the full accent.
Yeah.
I've been here since 2001 and you know what I mean? Like, come on.
All right, so this one's gonna make some people mad at you.
Yeah.
Which one's better, Sydney or Perth?
Ooh, both different. Sydney for partying, Perth for beaches and spectacular views and landscape.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have sleeping issues due to time zones on your travels?
I suffered for good 2 to 3 weeks with jet lag each way that I fly. Mm-hmm. More so when I go to Australia. But yeah. The time change thing can really mess you up.
Okay. Have you ever had to suck poison out of someone?
No. Listen, going back to that, I've never sucked anything out of anybody, but no, I've never had to suck poison out of anyone.
Because I know y'all got a lot of poisonous animals.
Everything's poison in Australia. Everything, the women, and everything's poison there. You just have to look at a spider and you can die. It's funny. I was watching a documentary on one of Australia's most beloved characters and representatives, Steve Irwin. Yeah. He was the crocodile hunter. He was huge over here in America. And I was watching how he actually passed away. He had been filming for a couple of days. They had completely finished filming, and they saw this big manta ray swimming in these beautiful crystal clear blue waters. And he thought, you know what? I'm going to get a shot for my daughter's TV show. That his little daughter was filming a TV show. So he just dived in the water and had the camera and was swimming on top, spooked this manta ray. And the manta rays, when they sting you, it's so quick.
Like knife stabs.
And it got him like 7 times, pierced his heart. He maybe lasted 2 minutes. Yeah. And Steve Irwin's last words were, mate, I'm dying. Yeah. That was his last words. And then he passed away.
Gee.
Yeah, so the manta ray got him, man, stung him right through the heart.
Yeah.
We got a lot of snakes, a lot of spiders, a lot of sharks, a lot of crocodiles, a lot of blue jellyfish.
For those people who don't know, can you tell people about the Great Emu War of 1932?
The Great Emu War of 1932. So I could make something up right now and make it sound really good. No idea. Have no clue about that.
I heard there was a war against humans and emus, and the emus won in Australia.
The emus will win every time. Have you seen those things?
No.
Yeah, they were like hunting them like aggressively, and like they were setting up like cavalry lines against them, and the emus were like, "Get fucked."
Emu, emu, not emu. Emu.
Yeah, so the emos were...
So, I got a funny story about an emo. Let me just... Not an emo, an emu. Just for fuck's sake, what are you doing? Really quickly, just... So I was on tour with Manpower. I was in, I believe I was in Canada, and we went to a zoo, me and all the boys, and it's a zoo where you ride on BMX bikes, and you can go and you see all the cages and everything there. Anyway, I'm riding with one of my boys, and I was like, hey, let's slip into these bushes here and smoke a joint, real quick. And he's like, yeah, all right. So we ride in, get off our bikes. I'm leaning up against this chain link fence, and we're smoking this joint, and then fucking out of nowhere, I just feel something push me real hard. This big emu charged the fence that we were leaning up against, right? Now, the thing is about this emu, if you look at their legs, they look like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
They look like they are lizard legs with these big, long talons. Anyway, being stoned and attacked by an emu.
That's got to be an experience.
It was, man. It was. Yeah.
All right. Next question I got for you. Why are Australian drivers so bad? Why is the driving so bad over
Because
there?
the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car.
I've heard horror stories about people. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's it took me. Actually, I got it pretty well, but I tried to get my mum to drive over here just once. Fucking hell.
How is it coming from a place where, like, I think most of the places shut down like 5 or 6, right, to Vegas, where everything's kind of like open 24 hours?
So I think nightclubs close at around 2 a.m. Pubs close around 10.
Okay.
Or 10:30's last call. So yeah,
But shops and everything else, right?
everything's
Like,
closed. Oh
at
yeah,
5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. About 5:30 at night, everything shuts. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You know, I haven't even really thought about that. Because I'm so used to it here now.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing people. Here's a culture thing I freaked out about. $17 boxes of Corona at the gas station. A box of Corona in Australia is $70. And you can only get it from a bottle shop, an alcohol store.
Really?
Yeah, $70.
Yeah, you got to import a lot of stuff. Huh?
Yeah, pack of cigarettes is like $50.
Jesus. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Mental health care in U.S. versus in Australia. What's the difference, do you think?
Oh, I think that the medical system is way better in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It has to. I can't say anything wrong about the medical system over there. Everyone's taken care of no matter what. And if you can get in straight away, if you want to see a specialist, maybe you'll be put on a waiting list. But everyone is taken care of. Where over here, if you hurt yourself and go to hospital and you don't have insurance,
Yeah.
you could be paying that off for the rest of your life.
So how do you think the U.S. government could improve healthcare in the United States, coming from other places?
I think the US could maybe take a page out of the book of Scandinavia or the book of Australia or the book of some of the places in Europe and look at how they take care of their citizens. Everyone has the right to be taken care of medically, no matter what. If you've got money or if you don't, everyone has that right. And I think that the countries should be prioritize taking care of their citizens, whether they can pay for it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Something else I kind of want to talk to you about because I found interesting. So if I'm American and I want to go be an Australian citizen, I can't have a criminal background. What the fuck? It's made of criminals. It's a
yeah, exactly.
Like-
So Australia was started by a bunch of prisoners from England.
Yeah.
Were brought over and dumped over there, and there you go. Which is funny because Australia was founded and colonized by criminals.
And I can't have a criminal record if I want to go. That's crazy.
can't.
That's,
I know, right?
That's nuts to me.
So if you have a felony, you can't.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same here, though. I think.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I know.
It's like I got to do a criminal background check to get in Rikers Island, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, I know, right? I know it's bizarre, but you know, I think the two hardest countries to get into. Well, hang on a minute. This used to be a hard country to get into.
Yeah,
Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just waltz across the border right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just walk in. Me, it cost me tens of thousands of dollars. It took me interviews. It took me having to pay taxes for me to be able to get. It took me to get married to an American citizen.
Yeah.
To be able to live here.
Yeah.
And now people can just waltz on in.
Yeah.
Fuck, what I spend all that money for?
It's crazy, right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's just so bizarre and so different. I came over here on a work visa.
Yeah.
I was on a P1 entertainment work visa, which I had to get renewed every single year to stay in this country. And then when that option was no longer available, I had to get married to get a green card.
Yeah.
To stay in this country.
Yeah.
So it kind of irritates me a little bit when I see people just you know, if it's for asylum seekers, yeah, I can understand it, but come on, man.
So in Australia, who are the indigenous population or the aboriginal?
The Aboriginals, yeah. So they are the, you know how you have the Native Americans here in America?
Here it'd be Indians, yeah. Native
In Australia, it's the Aboriginals. Very, very dark-skinned indigenous people. Very spiritual.
Right.
But not really.
But would you say it's African? Would you say it's Switzerland, Spanish?
No, it's Australian. It's Australian. Have you ever seen what an Aboriginal person actually looks like?
Only on YouTube.
Yeah. They're very, very unique looking people compared to any of the other indigenous people around the world.
Yeah.
You know, Australian and an African American person look completely different, although they're both black.
Right.
They look completely different. The Australian people, the indigenous people, the Aborigines, they are, it's very, very similar situation to what it's like with the Indians over here.
Yeah.
A lot of the Aboriginal people, unfortunately, you know, have alcohol problems and homeless and live in reservations and things like that.
So do you think British colonism still affects a lot of people in Australia?
I mean, I suppose the end result of it will always have some kind of effect because they took away the indigenous people's land.
Yeah.
And
And you said something about they're trying to do away with freedom of speech over there now?
Just anything that you say that the government doesn't agree with or that's not considered, you know, in what the government views as what you can and can't say, you can get your social media taken away. You got to be careful what you say in Australia. You really do.
But now, what's crazy, it's a country full of convicts, right? Basically, that's how it started. But the crime rate is so low. Why is the crime rate so low?
Because there's no guns.
There's no guns in Australia.
No. Not like there is here. Not like there is here.
Huh.
You can't buy. I mean, I'm sure you can, but it's very hard. Yeah. You can't buy an AK-47 in Australia for what, $1,200 like you can over here.
So what do people kill people with in Australia?
Well, an AK will probably cost you 50 grand over there.
Jeez.
God bless America. I'm glad I have 3 of them.
Yeah. I want one. And you know what? When I even mention guns around my Australian family or friends, they just automatically say, "You're turning into an American." Damn straight I am. You see what's going on over here right now? So yeah, guns.
Wait,
is.
so can you get? So I'm assuming because of I'm assuming you can't have like a concealed carry or anything like that.
No way.
Damn.
Maybe farmers and law enforcement. That's it. And,
And
farmers can only have, you know, like a 22 they call them.
Oh, so you can only have a 22 caliber rifle as a farmer.
Yep.
But cops can
Cops
have...
Cops have 357s and Glocks in Australia.
Well, I mean, Glocks come in many different... Like, I have a Glock, and it's a 9mm. You can get a Glock that's a 10mm.
Yeah.
That's, like, this big around. And...
Yeah. See, I'm kind of not really schooled on guns. I've never really owned one because I was too much of a fucking psychopath to have one, and I'd probably end up blowing my brains out on the night, fucking binging on... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that I'm clean and sober, I'm looking more into that. There's a have you seen that company that sells those non-lethal? They're called Byrna, Byrna. They sell these non-lethal firearms that look exactly like a gun that shoot.
The
hard
bean bags?
No. They're hard like real hard plastic, but they've got tear gas on the inside, so they've got pepper spray on the inside, and they leave a bruise and a red welt.
Like the rubber bullets.
They are. No, so it says no background checks or permits required. Legal in 50 states.
Really?
Adopted by 300 plus law enforcement agencies globally. Over 300,000 units sold. 12,000 plus 5-star customer reviews. Yeah, but here's the thing though.
If you've got a real gun and someone pulls out the burner, you're in big trouble, right?
Well, even with a real gun, there are plenty of times where like you shoot somebody 12 times with a 9mm and they're so jacked up that like they just keep coming.
I
hope that's not from you don't know that from experience.
Not my experience. No, I swear to, like, I really hope I never have to pull my firearm.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah.
See, I did security here in Vegas for 2 years, right? And I always carried a taser, even though I was armed, because some of these junkies, you take it out and you point in their forehead, they'll still walk to you. They don't care. But you got to take your taser out, then they'll make them piss on themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then they stop. But a gun, they'll just walk right into it.
Yeah. I mean, I have pepper spray. I've had a gun pulled on me 3 times since I've lived in America. 3.
Really?
Yeah, 3.
How many of them were by Khabib?
He hit me with a tiramisu cake. No, yeah, I've had a gun pulled on me 3 times here in America, and one time I got it on video, so it was pretty scary. But I like the idea of the burner for the car, or maybe just because you can get the black ones or the camo ones. They look exactly like.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, you can tell it's.
They have shotguns. They have.
Yeah,
you
it
name
looks like something you would see in RoboCop.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know what it is for you with your citizenship and everything, but like here in Nevada,
I can own it.
So in Nevada, you can legally keep a weapon concealed in your car without a permit.
Right.
Like if you keep it in your glove box or in the center console, that's not concealed carry.
Right.
So that's legal. And we're also an open carry state too, which is actually kind of stupid, but
Yeah. No, definitely looking into that. Just considering the way that everything's going right now, I'd just rather, like you say, have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah. Okay.
These only get you so far, brother. Especially when you've got a torn Achilles tendon like I have right now. I ruptured my Achilles a month ago.
and then again on Saturday night.
And then again on Saturday night.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Who has the bigger drug problem, United States or Australia?
Oh, the United States by
Really?
far. Yeah. I mean, fentanyl, I don't believe has made its way. I don't believe it's made its way to Australia
China's
yet.
using Mexico to get it into here. That's how bad it is.
So last year, check this out, right? Last year, fentanyl killed around 250,000 American people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what 250,000 people look like? Imagine you go to a rock concert and you'll get 30, 40,000 people there.
Yeah. That's
Imagine
That's massive.
And that is huge. Imagine 250,000 people are killed by this drug, which has been imported by the Chinese. They're killing us from the inside.
Well, they made a new drug called Trank. They'll take fentanyl and then they'll put it in tranquilizer, so you can't overdose on it, but it eats your skin from the inside.
Yeah, I've
That's crazy.
Philadelphia, there's a street
Yeah.
there that I've watched some YouTube videos on.
I've been on that street.
Have you really?
Yeah.
What's the feeling walking? Do you feel sadness and heartache, or do you feel like fucking poor people, or like,
No, I'm
God,
not.
I'm glad I'm not here?
I honestly, the most fucked up part for me is it makes me feel like home, because I've seen shit like that my whole fucking life. It's like, okay, well, there's, it's almost like seeing family members standing on a corner of the street. That is,
But Trank's it's a different level drug though, right?
But-
They bent right over,
yeah.
and I've seen this guy.
But
like,
that's
he's-
been going on for years, though. I mean, they've always had drugs that have these junkies fucking bent over and just out of it for years. I mean, it's a high is a high, I guess,
Yeah. Well, fuck. Yeah.
So, if you were president of Australia, what would you change?
Prime Minister. We have a prime minister. Yeah.
That's right. I'm also going to ask you, what is teal over there?
Teal.
Yeah.
It's a color. It's a color.
It's still a color over there?
Yeah.
Because I was reading some political document and it said it meant like freedom or something for teal.
TEAL. Is it?
It was on video. I didn't get the...
Don't know. Never heard of it.
Okay, I thought it may have been like a political group or something, teal.
Yeah. What I would do if I was Prime Minister of Australia, I think that the way that the country is swaying a little left now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would leave a lot of decisions in the hands of the parents and the people, instead of the government deciding what you have to say, what you have to do, what you can't say. It should be left up to the people to determine what they do with their own lives, and it shouldn't be run by a tyrannical government that tells you what you can and can't say.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would let the citizens have a little bit more. I don't want to say power.
Freedom?
Yes, and rights. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I looked up, so it's teal independence is what he's referring to. So teal independents, simply known as teals and also called community independents, are a loosely aligned group of centrist, independent, or minority party politicians in Australian politics. They have been characterized as strongly advocating for increased action to mitigate climate change by reducing carbon emissions, along with improved political integrity and accountability. They also generally share socially liberal outlooks, including on issues such as LGBTQ rights. The eponymous color teal, which has been interpreted by some journalists as a blend of the green of the environmental movement and the blue of the Liberal Party, was a dominant feature of campaign branding used by high-profile independent candidates Zali Steggall, Allegra Spender, I believe it's Kylie Tink, Monique Ryan, Kate Cheney, Zoe Danielle, and Sophie Scamps. However, not all candidates use the color. So it's their version of like the Tea Party.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? The funny thing is, I never really got into politics until I came to America.
Really?
No.
Well, because you have no choice. Like,
right.
It's almost like asking you what nationality you are.
That was another thing that I remember that shocked me when I came over here was seeing all the commercials on TV for attorneys. We didn't have that in
Thank
Australia.
God.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't have that in Australia. Yeah.
Is LBGTQ pushed over there like over here?
I believe so.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still more accepted over there than over here.
Homosexuality was accepted because Sydney is next to San Francisco is the biggest gay capital of the world.
Right.
It's never been an issue.
I think
it's only the last 3 years that this kind of thing has become an issue with a lot of people.
It's just an issue over here because I think it's pushed a lot to the kids, from marketing and stuff like that. Is that the Australians not feel the same way?
I'm sure that they do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
But
really
they really can't say much about it.
I mean, there's no Dylan Mulvaney's running around Australia,
Yeah.
destroying beer companies by the billions, but
That was tremendous, wasn't it? It was a bad beer to begin with. Like the only people that like that beer are people who have sensitive egos. We literally just proved that.
yeah, no, we did. Yeah, no, I never drank that cat piss anyway.
Right, right?
If there was nothing else, yes, but I never drank Bud Light.
At that rate, you're like, you have tap water?
Yeah. You got warm tap water from Vegas?
I'll take that over that.
So, how would you improve the homeless situation in Australia?
I would take a massive chunk out of the deficit
Yeah.
and allocate whatever it was to each state that requires to clean up the areas of filth or where these people are migrating and make some kind of, I don't want to say a shelter because a shelter seems like some kind of area or place for them to be able to restart their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't. If you think about it,
Yeah.
the money that the billions that they spend on this environmental crap, they could be putting into helping real life people that need it right now, not what may happen or what might happen or what
Yeah.
we believe is happening. It's bullshit.
Yeah. And is it only white and black in Australia? Because you said something about you've never seen a Puerto Rican until you came to the United States.
No, I'd never seen a Latin woman until I came to the United States. And I tell you what, I was eating them like grapes.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, man, I'd never seen a Puerto Rican or a Mexican on TV, but I didn't know. I didn't know that there was different Latino people. I didn't know there was Mexico and Guatemala and Puerto Rico and all
Yeah.
these different places. I had no idea about that.
Is it divided over there? As it is
Australia?
over here? Yeah. Is white and black divided like
No, I don't
here
think
in the South?
we're very multicultural in Australia.
Really?
Very, very. A lot of certain suburbs in certain states have certain breeds of people. Where I come from, a lot of Japanese people. In Melbourne, there's a lot of Lebanese people and Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
You know, in Sydney, a lot of gay people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So I'm being signaled to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything that you want anybody watching you who watches your podcast to know about you? A message to the world?
I believe that words have consequences and words are like a bell. You can't unring it once it's said. I really wish that people would be a little bit more loving and kinder to, whether it's online or just in general. People see me dress up like Connor and think I'm this egomaniac that strives for attention, that's pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
It's just not the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure I have a bit of ego, but we all do. But I'm a pretty humble dude that will talk to anyone, that is very friendly, will help anyone out whenever they need it. I'm that guy that will give you that T-shirt off my back. Yeah. People, what they see on my podcast, what you're going to see now, because now I'm starting sober.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be doing this podcast sober. So I believe you're going to see the real me. Before, I believe it was a forced character version of me.
Right.
Now I want people to see like what you've seen here today is who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A goofy guy that likes to tell stories and you know, flex.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I would like. But don't take that. Just have a bit more kindness. That's what I would say.
Towards other people.
Yeah,
towards
man.
Everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Very nice. Well, I appreciate it. Sir, it
Hey,
has
listen,
been an
man.
absolute pleasure, man.
It was great because, one thing I really appreciate about guys like you is that you've come in, you've prepared, you had some really, really great questions. Our back and forth was awesome. It was a very comfortable situation to talk to you in, and I think you're doing an amazing job, and I can't wait to spread the word of Justice Junkeez, man, and
you.
let's get this going for you, my brother.
Thank you. All right. You guys heard it from the man himself. You guys stay tuned if you want to see more. Is that good, Austin?